about 2021, I worked for a magazine. I was the assistant editor of Canadian Musician magazine. We also published Canadian Music Trade, Professional Lighting and Production, and Professional Sounds. So 4 magazines in the music industry that we pushed out throughout the year. I got to do some traveling when I worked there, which was awesome. And on this one show, I went to Anaheim, California. I've always loved California, just the idea of it, I guess. And, you know, that's where all Hollywood is, and that's where all the hippies went to during, you know, 1969 on Ash and Highbury. And I've just always wanted to go to California. Well, I got to go. I went to an awesome show there. It's called the NAMM show, and I bought a t-shirt from back in 2006, and I took pictures with all the celebrities I saw, and I got them to sign it, and then I put the pictures on the t-shirt when I got home. Well, once I got the pictures developed, because that was film way back in my day when we used film photography. So when I was there at the show, I was approached by this man. I think his name was Rob. And he was an older man, about the same height as me, which is short for a man. He saw me writing, and he was interested in who I was and what I was doing. He was in charge of a magazine called 22nd Century Rock Magazine, based in Phoenix, Arizona. He wanted me to do a piece about my experience as a Canadian being in the show, or not in the show, being at that trade show, and just what I thought about everything. So I'm like, cool, awesome. I'll write that up, and I sent it off to him, and I don't think I got paid for that, now that I think about it. But when you're young and you're writing any type of art, I guess, do a lot of the shit for free, just to get exposure. So I wrote about my experience there, which was really fun. But then after I did that piece, he contacted me again and wanted to know if I would come to somewhere in the States to report on a music festival. And it was like 3 or 4 days over a weekend. But my dad wouldn't let me go. He's like, no fucking way. He's like, you're not going down there without, like, by yourself. Because before, when I went to Anaheim, I was with my work people I knew for months, and, you know, they paid for it and everything. So this would have been completely independent on my own, but my dad wouldn't let me go, which, you know what, now as a parent, I agree with him. I see why he wouldn't let me go. That's sketchy as fuck. You're not gonna let your young daughter go, who's naive, which I was, take off to some random guy who she just met. So, good job, Dad. Did a good job there saying no. But that's, you know, one opportunity that I missed out on. Another one is when I worked for that magazine company, I was offered to go to a trip to Germany. It was Hannover, Germany, and I would have been writing about the opening of Gibson Guitars Museum that they opened there. So again, this is going years back. It was early 20s, and I decided I shouldn't go because I would have felt guilty for going, because I already decided that I wanted to leave that company and I wasn't happy there anymore. My boss came in my office one day and he asked me to do something which I didn't agree with, but I did anyway because, well, I felt intimidated by him. He's my boss, and he's an older man, bigger than me, and so I felt a bit of intimidation, so I did it. But you know what? Having said that, I did know at the time, and I realize now I'm my own person. If I decide to do something, that's my actions are my decision. I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, because he intimidated me, I had to do it. No, there was still an option to say no. I just was too much of a pussy to say no. And I should have. Looking back now, if that happened to me today, I say, no, I don't agree with what you're asking me to do. It wasn't anything sexual, nothing like that. It was totally work related. But I would have stood up for myself now and said no. But then I didn't, and then I just let that eat at me and ended up hating my job. So, you know, life lessons. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And say it proudly and confidently, and don't let people walk all over you. Yeah, that's what I should have done. So anyway, because of that instance that happened, I wasn't happy there anymore and I knew I was leaving. Took me a few months to find another job. So I didn't go to Germany because I felt guilty because I knew I was gonna quit that job. What? Fucking retard, I should have went. I should have went. Now I was a bit nervous to go by myself. I would have been going by myself, and it was apparently, Hannover is a smaller town. I don't know what it's like today. But apparently at that time it was a smaller town and not a lot of people would speak English. I don't know German at all. So that made me a bit apprehensive to go as well. But I'm still kicking my own ass. I wish I went. Should have went to Germany, man. One day. Some of you know I love doing stand-up. Really want to get out there again and do it. The lady who gave me my start in stand-up is Shelley Marshall. I actually went to school with her daughter Chelsea, and that's how I knew Shelley. You know, fast forward, I get out of high school and Shelley is doing stand-up and I went and saw her and she was hilarious. Then she did sort of like a comedy show with music and burlesque dancers, and we went there and I thought, you know what, I'm watching these women do stand-up, like I want to do that. I'm thinking of some funny things, like it's ballsy to go out there, and made me nervous and scared to do it. But some of the best stuff in life does make you nervous and scared before you do it, right? And then you take that step and you do it, and you're so glad that you did. So I went and saw her performers and made me want to go up and do it on my own. So I contacted her and she gave me a shot, and that's when I first performed in Dunnville, Ace's Bar and Grill, which is the bar attached to our bowling alley. And then she invited me to perform with her at another event, and it was going to be at a club in Toronto that was all 420 friendly. And now that's before it became legal, but there was still like, it was starting to become more common, and there was like clubs and that, I guess, that were, they didn't start drinking, people would be smoking there. Now, this came at a time just before we were about to move to Fort McMurray. So from Ontario, southern Ontario, we drove to northern Alberta, and it was like maybe a month before we were going to leave to do that. And I still would have been here during the time, I still would have been in Ontario during the time when she invited me to this festival or to this other comedy show. But I said no because I was preparing to do this big move and I was stressed out about it, and I could only handle so much stress in my life at one time. So I said no, and you know what? That's been a regret and stuck in my head too. I should have said yes. Should have taken every opportunity that comes my way, right? Especially if it's something that I want to do and I love to do. So like, fuck, I'm kicking myself in the ass still for that one. So being 34 this year, I don't want any more regrets. I plan on taking every opportunity I can and seeing where it takes me.